we are at the White Truck Muster. And of course, at any truck muster, there's got to be a ring-in. In this case, the ring-in is a Foden. And the Foden belongs to one Frank Latore. Frank, how are you, mate?
I'm good, Graham.
You're looking a bit stiff there, mate. You know, you're a bit nervous about being on camera.
Yeah, I'm not much in discussing a lot of issues somehow. I don't know.
Well, we're not going to get.
Words don't come to me properly.
We're not going to get political,
No
mate.
swearing.
No, well, you know, you can. I can beep it out.
All I can say is I'll start from. In 1982, I bought this truck from Universal Records in
I love this.
Shepparton.
I love this. Cut. Right. Oh, I'm not much good at words, and then he starts. Okay, take two. I love this, folks.
Oh,
Go on, Frank. You bought this when?
in 1982, I bought it for a local job from Universal Records, from people that owned Universal Records, Harry Robinson.
Right.
A lot of people locally would know him.
Yes. Yeah. Indeed.
There's only records in Shepparton.
So why did you buy a Foden, mate?
I didn't even know it was a Foden because this wasn't on the truck. No label. It was derelict wherever it was in Sydney.
Right.
And Universal's used to buy stuff, a lot of wrecks and stuff for scrapping. Money in scrapping was good money, and that's what he had blokes doing. And this was picked up in Sydney, that's all I know, and no owners or nothing. So,
Righto. Come around the side here because we'll get out of the breeze.
I patched it up, took it to the local cop shop in Maroopna,
Yep.
and we had a good talk, and they registered it for me.
It's not what you know, it's who you know. Is that right?
It was good. They were good to me.
Okay. So.
And I met a sergeant from Western Australia.
Mm,
He used to see a lot of them, and he knew roughly the age of the truck. So he said to his offside, you could register this about 61.
okay.
And it turns out later in years, when I started knowing a few things from England, I got a bit of paper saying with the chassis number of this truck, and it was October 65.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and got it changed. That's how I know a bit about it.
So you bought it for what purpose? Quarrying, yes?
No, I bought it first for carting tomatoes at Rosella Foods in Tatura.
You can tell you're a Shepparton or Goulburn Valley boy.
Oh yeah, I'm bloody.
Most of the truckies in this area were involved with fruit or veg or some such thing, weren't they?
Yeah, we grew up in
A rich history.
farm in the outback, way out in Kyala East. And didn't know much more. I knew the channel.
For those that don't know,
Right,
Kyala East is only about 5 or 6k from Shepparton.
There you go.
But it would have been in the outback. Would have been in the outback when you were born, mate.
Yeah,
because that was the horse and cart days,
Well,
wasn't it?
my dad used to, very few fences around back then.
Mm.
Sheep used to wander up to your house. So you got a free feed now and again too.
The sheep or you?
All good.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
So you bought
what
it to
else
do
I
a
want
job.
say?
Well, you bought it to do a job. Tell us what the job
cart
was.
Tomatoes,
Yep.
seasonal, just seasonal to Tatura. I've
Mm-hmm.
done that for 11 years, but this truck done it for 7 years. Because from when I started to when I found the truck at the wreckers.
Yep.
So I towed it home, went through it myself, through bearings and things like that. The only thing, the cabin was derelict, and we patched it up, very rough.
Yep.
But the local police helped me out, and it's only local, and keep out of everybody's way.
So after 7 years, you decided to get something new for the work.
No, after 7 years, there was coming on to 11 years. Rosella Foods were looking for bigger paddocks, and all the local growers got destroyed. Or shut shop
Yeah.
for sauce. So they wanted me to upgrade my equipment and go elsewhere. And I said, no thanks.
Not
It's
viable.
for me. It's too short a season. I knew what was coming up. Because you needed a lot of trucks and no work for 3 months, You get to Rosella and half the time you'd be staying there loaded to get unloaded. You couldn't do your job properly.
No.
So I got out, and I don't know about a few of the others because we were about 5 carriers then, doing the whole area from anyhow for miles.
No. Okay. So you might have taken a truck off the road, so to speak, in terms of work, but you couldn't part with it.
No, well, it wasn't a truck you could just sell the way it was. You know, that bugger all cabin. So all that had to be redone. And what happened, I come in, because I used to work on the off season with Tom and Jack Young in Cheverton.
Yep.
On subdivisions and,
Yep.
and quarry. And I ended up at the last year or two at the quarry with Youngs. And Borrell then comes in the picture and took over Youngs. And management from Melbourne decided to wanted to contract the bin job, which is dumping aggregates around in stockpiles all day. So that's how I ended up with the Foden in the quarry.
Right.
And it went for 19 years. And honestly, it gave me bugger all trouble.
Right. So is this the tray that you had on it in those years?
No, it had a flat top. When I got it from the wreckers, it had a 20-foot flat top with proper twist locks that they used to cart containers in Sydney with. That's all I know of originality.
Right.
Since it's been in Australia. Could have been a barrel job, concrete barrel job in England. I heard from others that they used to import second-hand ones back then and stretch them out. They used to add a bit of chassis and stretch them out to what this is. I didn't know it was stretched out. We looked everywhere, but I found a bloke that knew where it worked because he used to work at Fairfield, where they used to do a lot of these trucks back then. To get them going, and that's all I know about it.
So when you put yourself out to pasture, which is a few years ago now, and we're not giving your age away, but we know you're an old
I was
bugger.
still working when I was restoring this.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I bought when I parked this. It wasn't for anybody. This truck had to be a personalised, looking after like a baby. And so I bought an Acco, a 2350E Acco, the same setups, and put a new body on it, and continued the work. And this one here, I started restoring it because I knew new friends in clubs, and I got stirred up a bit. So I thought, oh, well, what am I going to do?
Any reason for the colours you chose?
No, well, the colours in '98. Borrell offered to help me out with the cleaning up of this truck, and they wanted to use their colours.
Fair enough. Can't blame them for
That's how
that.
it ended up with that colour. And then in 2010, left me on the run because I had a friend that used to ride bikes, and he was in the Olympics, and so I painted the Olympic colours, and that wasn't far off the colour they originally had, only different paint and in good, just strip it down, re-resin the cabin off the truck because that's where most of the money went. My mechanicals and things, well, they were all tops, and I just went through them, cleaned everything up and done what I had to do, and I've got a Foden, probably the only one in Australia that drives anywhere.
Yeah, and you do drive it to many places.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
this has become your weekender, hasn't it?
I've been from Alice Springs down, I don't know how you say it, the south to the north coast to Wauchope and Kempsey. That's the furthest I've been so far.
Yeah, that's a fair distance.
I've been to Dubbo a couple of times, and I've been around.
You are a fixture in this part of the woods,
Yes,
Frank, and you're a fixture certainly amongst the Victorian
Many people don't want to
Victorian
talk to
truck
me.
shows, and I know you've featured in big rigs and I believe Truck and Life before, because
Truck and
I'm pretty
Life,
sure that I'm the one that wrote about you. And of course, here we are now, trucking with Kermie. We all move on, don't we?
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Mate, nice to talk to you. Enjoy the truck. think it'll probably outlast you, quite frankly. You know, you look after it
won't
better
wear
than
it
you
out.
look after yourself.
Yeah, no, I won't be wearing this out. I think I'm too old for that.
Good on you, Frank. Pleasure to talk to you, my friend.
Thanks, Graham.
We will see you soon. Graham,
Thanks for
Jesus,
the-
another formal person, for God's sake.
Always a nickname. I'm not a man for nicknames. Too
There
much.
you go. Jesus, there's
But
a few
that's all right.
nicknames that you've got, mate, but I'm not allowed to
You still
repeat them.
respect me for calling you Graham, don't you?
Oh, I do, mate.
Well, we've
yeah.
had called you Graham.
Mate, look, it's better than being called shitface or something, isn't it?
Yeah,
Good on you, Frank.
That's
Been
all
good to
good.
talk to you, mate. We will see you soon. And
Thanks.
by the way, folks, he still
for
lives
the
in the
plug.
wilds of Kyella.
thanks for the plug, mate.
What's this, Frank? You did tell me once before, but I've forgotten. What are we looking at here?
You're looking at a Frank Latore air conditioner setup.
Okay.
What happened with OH&S in the quarry started getting heavier and heavier and stirring us up all the time, and Boral had to put air conditioners in all their machines, and I got to deal with them and put the air conditioner in my truck. So I had 3 fan belts on this truck, on this motor, so I pinched one of them and I butted it up to what I got there because there's no left-hand passenger. So
And it
it's
makes
not
you-
annoying nothing.
And it makes those weekend trips
Yeah,
that much more
beautiful.
pleasurable,
Yeah,
doesn't
oh,
it?
yeah, I probably should have put it in when I got it at the wreckers.
Yeah.
Yeah.